Schwee the People, Episode 9.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Episode 8, Part 2.
Wow, that'll be episode 9. Episode 9, Our Time with Jess, Part 2.
It's because I'm awesome.
And then there was silence. There was all this talking before I hit record.
That's why I told you to hit record while they were still talking.
Yeah, that's
If it wasn't
unprofessional.
such
That is
a sweet-ass song.
It would be perfect. Listen, you cut into us talking because, let's face it, in between these episodes, I'm talking too. We have really good conversation. And we don't
This
have...
episode, we're going to be talking about weird sex.
No, we're not.
Well, Louie and Jess were just in the middle of an engaging conversation about spider venom.
Yes.
So,
Spider theory.
spider theory. Tell us more.
More spider theory.
So I can't remember if I went into details on how the guy felt when he got bit by a Sydney funnel web spider. But the way he described it was like obviously intense pain when he got bit. But he was saying he started feeling like his lips tingling, and like it was just kind of like coming in waves on how the venom was affecting him. And when he got to the hospital finally, he said like the doctors were all pretty calm, getting like the anti-venom or whatever they use ready. But then he just was like doing like shaking like he had like Parkinson's, and he just couldn't stop like shaking. But when he told his friends that he had gotten bitten by a Sydney funnel web spider, and these are like Aussies, their first response is like, "You're a fucking idiot," like because he was cleaning his gutters out without any gloves on to start with. But the threat of being bitten by a Sydney funnel web spider is just so low that you should be blamed, because like what the fuck did you do to the spider? Like why was your hand anywhere near this thing to begin with? Its domain, and like usually they'll give you some kind of a threat posture to know to back away from it. So it's like you kind of the whole point is that the threat is not only minimal, but then when you do get bitten, everyone's going to be like, well, what the fuck did you do? They're not,
Right.
like you must have done something wrong. How did
You brought this on yourself.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, yeah. I, even with all my spiders, like I don't really worry about getting bit by any of them, like when I'm doing any type of like maintenance or anything like that.
What kind of spiders do you have?
She has a bird eater.
Lots. I've got several. I have lots. I've got
She has spiders so big they eat birds.
big
I always
birds, though,
forget how to
probably.
pronounce it, but like tarantulas.
Pronounced bird eater.
Like tarantulas, like those types of spiders, it's like I don't know if it's mygalomorph or I used to always say
Megalomorph.
mygalomorph. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've got a couple of those. And I have a lot of tarantulas. I don't really keep true spiders too much. They just don't live very long. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but like
a female tarantula. I'm not sure if it's all species, but I think I read like they can easily go like 20 to 30 years, right?
It depends. It depends. It really, really depends on the species, but you get a lot more time out of a female than you do a male.
One of the things, like you always hear about the praying mantis, how it after she breeds, she bites the head off and eats the male,
That's
and
hot.
they were able to figure out just from like doing tests on how many eggs the praying mantis ends up laying when they cannibalize their mate and when they don't cannibalize, and their egg production is like
Exponential, I'm sure.
yeah. So they basically think that it was because they don't always kill the mate and eat it. But they
Sometimes the mate gets away.
yeah, or sometimes it doesn't happen. Like, but like they think it was an evolutionary thing where there might have been a shortage of food in like the ecosystem they're living in, and so the male accepts being killed and eaten, so the female can get the protein and everything for egg production. So it's like it's like an understanding self-sacrifice simply
It's
too.
an evolutionary thing, yeah. Well, I know, like with my tarantulas, like when I do have one that matures out a male, they get kind of hyper because they are looking to mate.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and they don't eat as much, and they don't live very long after they mature, and when you can control the breeding on the tarantulas, when you can control the breeding on them, you can intervene so that the female doesn't eat the male. So, and then you could put the male together with multiple females, or, you know, have them do it multiple times just to make sure insemination happens. But, even before there was dinosaurs, the planet was covered in insects.
Yeah.
So insects have been around for billions and billions of years. And it's one of those things that now that we keep all these things as like pets, and things like that are becoming more accepted, that a lot of research is now being done on actually tarantula venom, because I really wish I would have
I
like
know,
known we were going to go this way, because different tarantulas have different styles of venom. You have like old world tarantulas, you have new world tarantulas. The old world tarantulas, generally their bite is a lot worse. It's going to affect you, muscle spasms,
Well, I know that
and
there's certain
things like
ones
that.
it's
A lot worse than
it
others.
immediately your white blood cells immediately attack the area and
Yes.
you swell up and it's filled with pus.
Us, yes. So, but I mean, it's all kind of individual to like.
So you're saying that
The
you
spider.
practice spider husbandry.
I do, and I actually try to have very good spider husbandry.
Jerk
But
off their little barbed cocks.
no, actually, they actually lay a web mat. They deposit the sperm on it. They flip upside down. They scoot underneath it, and they actually have emboli at the end of their pedipalps. The males do. They load the sperm from off of the web.
Is that in the front?
Yep, in the front. And
So those are little cocks.
no, they're sperm depositing devices. And they load it up and they kind of hold on to it and they punch it into the female when they go to mate.
Nice.
Literally. It's actually pretty neat. And they think that evolution was from when spiders were more so like a water species type thing, where their semen basically could like float up to them and they could catch it. So they've adapted to basically.
Yeah, they're basically like land crabs.
Yeah. Yeah. They have an exoskeleton which they shed.
So what do they taste like? I'm looking
crab.
at you, Louie.
I have never. I mean, I talked about how you cut off their butts, their abdomens,
Abdomens.
but it's the front part. You stick a stick through, and you can roast them over a fire, and you eat like the legs and everything else. And they say it's like crab meat, kind of.
I mean, I wouldn't think there would be
Who's they?
much to them.
Malaysians, they catch them. I know in Malaysia they go digging for them. There's like big, like blue. They have blue hair on them.
That's a lot of different ones too.
This is a Malaysian blue hair.
I have several Malaysians with blue hair in my
They
collection.
get them out of their burrows, like they are underground, like, and they go basically just digging for them and capture them and eat them.
That doesn't surprise me. Especially considering that spiders are incredibly prolific. A good egg sac from a big female gets you hundreds of babies.
Do they normally have to cannibalize when they're babies?
I think they do somewhat.
Because like the praying mantis, for instance, like they have to. They're so small. So out of that egg sac, like half eats the other half, just so they can get big enough to start, getting other insects that are small.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I
that
do
makes sense.
actually have a communal of tarantulas. I have 5 tarantulas that live together communally. They feed together. They build tunnels together.
I read something recently about there is one species of spider where they are communal, but the huntsman spider recently is evolving to be communal because of cutting down trees and stuff in Australia, and they're learning to like live together and like create like nests.
Yeah.
And they had these traps set up for some kind of a small type of mouse. They wanted to set these traps up so they can preserve the species and like move them because of like delogging.
Deforestation and whatnot.
The traps were getting infested with the huntsman spiders.
Right.
And like they have pictures, which if you don't like spiders, it would scare you because huntsmans are pretty big.
They are.
And there's like 3 different species of huntsmen, and they opened up this lid, and it was just packed full of like 100 of them in there.
I'm good on that.
I'm just thinking the poor mouse goes in there like,
No. No, thank you. So I actually have one of the tarantulas that I do have. I actually have fed a mouse.
My brother did that to.
It's a messy, messy cleanup after they're done.
Oh.
Does
Did
it
it
just
once,
shrink it
won't do
up?
it again. There's a lot of goo left over because it was just like a little, yeah, little like baby.
I know my dad got pissed at my brother because he threw a mouse in with a. It was like the what do you call them? Red rose tarantula, the real popular ones.
Rose hair.
Yeah, rose hair. Yeah, and so all it ended up doing is biting the mouse because it doesn't eat mice. So it bit the mouse, and then the mouse was just dead in the
Oh my
corner.
God.
You know, it invaded its space or whatever. That's
Yeah.
they eat crickets mostly. And
Right.
my dad was like, "Why would you do that?"
Wait, crickets. I have a noise for that.
That's what my house sounds like all the time.
There's an entomologist I know in Connecticut, and he's been getting into cockroaches lately for some reason, and like getting different, like keeping them as pets or whatever.
There's actually a lot of different cockroaches that are kept as pets. I actually have a dubia colony of cockroaches.
I to feed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thought of like a lid popping off and losing them in your house, like that's why I would never.
done
With
at
it-
that
that's
point.
why I do dubias because they're not a pest roach.
Oh, okay.
So if they got out and I did not care for them, they would die.
Oh, well.
They can't climb smooth sides anyway. I also at one point did have Madagascar hissing cockroaches as pets. Those were fun. Kept them as pets though, not for um feeding purposes.
I didn't realize. I used to think they were piece of shit spiders, cellar spiders, because
Oh,
they're
those
so.
things are cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're so like wispy and small, and I thought, what do these things do except make cobwebs? Because they make those wispy webs and shit.
Right.
Turns out they're like the best thing to have in your house, because their venom will kill. Their venom is completely harmless to you. Like they evolved to have venom that will kill other spiders.
Okay.
Especially spiders with higher potency venom. Like they will kill and eat brown recluses and black widows.
No shit.
And so Sean had a bunch in his cupboard and stuff, and so that yeah, there's one in the bathroom, and I just left it alone because it's like if it made a little web in there, it's eating something.
Yeah.
It's doing some kind of pest control. I might as well leave it alone. It's also killing other spiders, but
Yep.
they're so
And in this
they have
house,
long
it's a
legs,
veritable
almost like a
buffet.
daddy long legs, but their bodies are so tiny. And so we used to think as kids, like, what the fuck good is this thing? Their webs would just fall apart, you know, if you touched them. But the webbing is probably just so it can sense when something's nearby. It's not really meant
That's
to tangle.
generally what they use the webbing for. They can feel a vibration.
So they're very much like one of those lunatics who go off grid, and then they set up a bunch of wires.
Yeah.
Yes.
When the feds are on them.
Pop cans hanging on them or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I made this chime out of beer cans, so I know when the feds are coming.
Well, it's also interesting because like what they call cellar spiders now were basically a cave spider. Like their vision is terrible and everything.
That's
and
most spiders, though.
yeah, but the only reason it wound up like in the air in our houses and everything is just from humans transporting them on accident.
Oh, okay.
And then they just became a part of houses, but they were originally like inside caves. They never really left the caves and stuff.
Makes
Probably
sense.
miners and shit probably accidentally transported them out and brought them home, and then they just started breeding from there.
Yeah.
There's an actual large spider that's. Did you read about that giant spider that's moving up from the south?
Yeah.
And
Actually, a friend of mine had a couple in his bushes at home, and I was so incredibly jealous.
but it's so weird because they're literally just throwing a little web out and just moving
Yeah.
across the country, web by
Yes.
web, which is
Wow.
like. And I think they're from like. I'd have to look up the. They were in Georgia. I remember reading about that like 5 years ago.
Oh, there's Louis being unprepared again.
Well, and that's the thing with climate change and things like that. Like the weather really is changing. Like the weather when I was a kid was completely different than it is now, and it's enabling, stuff to move further north too. And with the Earth is very warm now, so we don't get frozen ground like we used to almost 50 years ago.
See, this is annoying. It looks like the spider I showed you that I have in the frame. But these titles they have, somebody pointed this out. They were mad at these people who are these nature videos on YouTube, and every video is like, "Whoa, deadly spider!"
Yeah, fear mongering.
And-
That gets annoying.
Yeah, and people were like, one guy was saying like, "You're doing a disservice because you're spreading so much fear about like the spiders and their bite and their venom and all this other stuff that's just making people more spooked by spiders." When the reality is like nobody has to worry about anything really, even in Australia.
Really?
Like the two deadliest spiders in the world, they don't even call them. They're deadly is the wrong term.
Medically significant
Yeah.
venom.
Yeah, that's and so
That's the most boring way to put it.
most people would actually
But
survive.
that's what it is.
I know what it is. But
Most people would easily survive being bit by a Sydney funnel web spider. The most dangerous people in their 70s have survived a Sydney funnel web spider bite without even going to a hospital. But children under the age of 12, that is the most dangerous
Yeah.
age to be where.
Well, and I'm sure any underlying health conditions could affect it and blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
so Mike would be fucked.
I know the one guy that got bit said that he was out of work for a week, and they told him to take a certain amount of time off, but he was bored. And he was like, I feel good enough to go back to work. And he used to always walk to work, which was under 1 mile. And his first day going back to work, he said by the time he got to work, he was like ready to just pass out because it just shocks your central nervous system
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
that even if you feel good, you don't realize how fucked up you are.
Right.
Because you're just wasted. Your central nervous system has just been gassed out. And so just doing like a short walk like that was enough to make him like realize, oh shit, I got to stay home for another week or two.
If
Yeah.
you do get bit by a spider with a medically significant venom, it does have a tendency to kind of hold on for a little while like that. Like
Well, it's like if it's messing with your central nervous system, it's no different than doing like 3 grams of cocaine and then like having to recover from that the rest of the week.
Right.
Because you're just like worn out and you might not even realize it. But yeah, this title here is Giant Venomous Flying Spider is spreading across the East Coast. So everything about that's
yeah,
wrong.
and it's like just orb weavers.
Yeah, flying spider. Yeah.
It's just an orb weaver. It's fine. You know, I actually welcome like all the critters at my house. I don't use any chemicals.
Oh, I have
Everything I do is all natural.
I have some
Joro spiders.
I have some
That's what they're called.
dramatic sound effects for the article. Spiders flying across the country.
Fearmonger.
They will take your children.
One man.
In a world.
Where spiders rule us all.
So yeah, it said in 2014. That must have been when I read the article. They were first found in North Georgia, but it says likely arrived as hitchhikers on shipping containers several years prior. So I'm not sure where
So
they
is it
originate from.
An invasive species then?
I mean, everything has been moved around and shipped by people.
Shipping.
Hawaii didn't have butterflies or moths until people came.
Right. Well,
And-
I mean, look at Australia and bunnies.
But yeah, the
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the caterpillars in Hawaii in just 100 years have evolved from leaf eaters to eating other insects
Oh well.
for food, and like their legs have become sharp barbs. Like so, when they grab onto something, they literally like stick these. Their legs look like spider fangs almost.
Yeah.
Like very.
Gotta love Darwinism and evolution.
So we got more on spider theory, or
Where are Jerome?
He's
I'm
looking
trying to
up.
find the origin. They have to know. But yeah, I was pretty decent sized.
Yeah.
It
make sure you
basically-
save that picture for editing purposes.
Yes.
Yeah, it basically looks like the like what they call garden spiders,
Yeah.
which I've seen one when I was a kid once on our front lawn, and never seen one again. But Luke said he saw a bunch of them up like where he lived all the time, like in the fields and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Makes sense. Yeah,
I
when
wish
my
when,
brother, when he lived up north, I would see like grass spiders and stuff like that. I wish I had them at my house. You know how many bugs they eat?
oh yeah, yeah.
I'm about to take the soundboard away from
I know. He's like, I know what all the buttons do.
We had like when I was doing security at the truck gate, we would get the orb weavers that you normally get like throughout the summer and stuff, and they would not try to knock them down with brooms and stuff and complain about the spiders. But it's like in the middle of summer, as muggy as it is, and we have to open up the window to talk to the truckers with the big lights on, and just getting
So many
swarmed
bugs.
with mosquitoes
Yep.
and fly, all kinds of shit. It's like leave the spiders. Let them
They will
build their
eat a
webs
lot
all
of
over the
them.
fucking lights, and like they're basically a bug zapper.
Yeah.
And that's just
And that's
Just a
the spider
theory.
rant. And that's the spider rant for
And
this
that's
episode.
just a theory.
A spider theory.
spider
A
theory.
spider theory.
Thanks for watching. So this is part 2 of our time with Jess. So anybody else got any more service industry stories? Changing the topic abruptly and fiercely.
some wacky sex stories.
One time.
Look, if
bang,
you want to
bang.
if you want to talk about wacky sex stories with everybody that we have on, then start another podcast.
I thought about doing like a podcast where I just interview gay guys and their kinks.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Sure, there you go.
Like and subscribe.
What are your kinks, Sean?
Name your favorite glory hole.
Glory hole.
Oh, that's a thing. It's still very much. I fell down a rabbit hole one night. There's a network, kind of.
They used to be at the adult bookstores. That was like an open secret.
Well, I worked at the adult bookstore, and there was no glory hole happenings there. I will say that. But like certain gas stations or meetups or old parking lots, there's like signaling you do.
Do you know what kind of signaling?
Nope, I didn't research it because I didn't want to know. But yeah,
I just think like, what are the chances that the person's ever going to be attractive?
It doesn't matter.
Right.
No,
It doesn't
the
even
whole
matter.
point is you don't know who's on the other side.
No. I'm talking like the one creator Dan Bell went to a porno store in Atlantic City, and they had like an upstairs with all the porno booths and stuff. And he went up there with a camera and a black light,
yeah.
just to show how unclean it was.
Oh,
But and they even had a theater, and there was it was right near a truck stop too. So a lot of the truckers would go in there. But he was saying he went into the theater while they're playing like the gay porn or whatever, and there's like everyone in there just looked like your typical trucker. And he was just saying like everyone was just ugly, and they were in there to move. They would blow each other and the seats or whatever,
Right.
And or probably like, go into one of the booths and fuck or something like that.
yeah.
But they were all just very gross. So
Sounds like a sexy time.
yeah.
No, you don't know what you're gonna get. I imagine so. Chances are not good.
Why are we talking about glory holes?
Why not?
So would a gay guy get mad if he went to the glory hole, right? And he does his thing in the glory hole and he gets off, and then when he comes walking out, you come walking out and you're like, hey, would he be like, oh, you tricked me? You're a liar.
It would depend on how I was dressed, I think.
He'd be even more confused when he's like, I just sucked your dick.
That's how I roll.
Couldn't you just have a flashlight? So you wouldn't even do any work. You could just be on your phone.
Oh yeah, you
Well,
could.
yeah, but then what's the point?
Well, because
the
they
point is
think
the
their
guy
dick's
think-
getting sucked.
yeah.
He's
Yeah, but
paying
it's
you.
like, what?
They pay.
Oh, they pay?
Oh yeah, that's how.
Oh, okay.
You're supposed
So
to
then
slip
you're just
like a
gonna-
$5 bill or something through like a slot.
So then you have like just some like working class
Yeah,
fucking dude wearing a wife beater, just like, well, another day in the grind, and then just like pressing the
You could be,
fucking
like,
flashlight.
on your phone with your left hand, and you're just
Yeah,
like
it's like-
mindlessly.
What did Trump do today?
Hey,
Just
20's
like
a
an out
20.
of, just like an out of work government employee.
My dad told me he watched this. I think it was like on PBS or something. They were talking about one of these places, and they had a glory hole, and it was like a 6-year-old Chinese immigrant woman, and she would just dip a sponge in warm water and jerk them off.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Keep it clean.
I remember somebody telling me a story that they went into the wrong booth, and while they're sitting in the booth waiting for like a peep show thing to happen, they just see a cock come through the wall.
Oh no!
Oh
And he
no.
got so scared that he just kicked it and ran out.
Oh my god. Oh.
I mean, how do you know which one is the correct booth? Are they
Right,
like
right. You
color coded or?
Did you imagine just sitting on your phone and getting smacked with a dick while you were waiting?
Yeah. What if like
Just
I'm
like
here for the
poking
titties.
poking you in the side of the face is like. I'm
what if
busy.
you grabbed the dick and just plunged a screwdriver through it?
Jesus
so when they
Christ.
tried to
Pull
pull out, it just
escalated.
gets stuck.
Oh my God!
That would you would have to. How would you? Okay, so you have to punch the
sharp
drywall.
edge.
wall.
Imagine
Sharp
being
edge.
on the
You
other
wouldn't
side of that, where it's just like, yeah, I'm looking for a good time. Oh dear God!
I remember watching a video where a guy wanted his dick stepped on, and they had like this fake wooden floor and a hole cut in it, and he sticks his dick through it, and the girl was being paid to step on his dick.
Oh no!
But she was so dumb, like apparently she thought, oh, he wants me to step on his dick with my heel, and so she steps on it with her heel. And in the video, you see it just like poke through his dick.
Okay.
And when she pulls out, blood's just shooting
Well,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's a lot of nerves and
Yeah.
veins.
But it's
there's a
like,
lot
you
of blood.
dumb bitch, you're supposed to step on it with like the ball of your foot, not the spiked heel.
It's an innie, not an outie.
I'm supposed to run this over with a lawnmower.
That's terrible.
That's horrifying.
What if it was like a thing where it's like a fake floor, you lay underneath it, and you put your dick through it, and then various people just like pin your dick down and sit on it and fart on it.
I mean, if you're into that thing.
All right.
I mean, if they're pinning it with their cheek, anything painful.
You
is
just kind of
probably
like
good.
clench it like in between your cheeks.
Yeah, there you go. That probably feels good, actually.
Yeah.
There's probably people into that.
Yeah, the vibrations.
I would think
Yeah.
so.
And the skin slapping a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Flapping, clapping.
And you wouldn't have
Well-
to smell it. There'd be a wall there. So.
Right, right.
I mean,
Speaking of people stomping on your balls, service industry stories. How's that for a segue? I did enough talking. I gave most of my good stories on the last episode.
Yeah, I don't.
What would be Shannon's turn?
Yeah.
oh, God.
Oh,
I don't
she's
have
got
any.
stories.
I have stories, but you have to ask me about them because they're just. I'm like, oh, no pressure.
Okay. Well, you worked at several pizza places.
Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Sean. I did. So back when Yahoo had Yahoo groups, and chat rooms, I ended up meeting this or talking to a dude in a chat room, and he was like, "Hey, you got a
Give us a year or around.
2001, 2002."
Okay.
So, oh God. So he gets me to go to this Yahoo group page, and it's like Michigan orgies. Like, okay. So we all enter this chat, and they're like talking to me, kind of, I guess. But they're talking to me, and then like the guy that runs the group, I forgot his name. He's like, "Oh yeah, you should come." I'm like, "Well, I'm like, I could check it
Then you
out
should come.
beforehand."
Then you should come.
Well, so I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, I work at Pizza Hut. If you guys deliver pizza on Friday, I'm working Friday. So I can make it so I can come deliver to you guys and I can check it out and see what's going on. So then I used to just deliver to this orgy every Friday night. And I would hang around a little bit while I was on delivery and kind of watch everybody doing their stuff. And one time I got a picture with no, there wasn't 5 naked firemen, I'm sorry. But there was 5 naked dudes with me in my uniform. And one of them was a fireman. He was pretty hot. So, and then,
It was a fun day. Just
Wait,
like
was it a gay orgy?
no, it was an everybody orgy.
Oh, okay.
I was like looking at the files on the computer one day, and I'm like, why is there a picture on here of Shannon at work surrounded by naked dudes?
It's typical Friday night.
Wait, you have that picture somewhere? Is it on the computer?
No, it was on. I was on Dad's computer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still exists. I haven't gone through that shit. recently.
Damn.
Do you still have that computer?
It's probably in the garage.
Yeah, there's like a couple. There's like 3 desktops. I
But
think.
it's like I don't know what I would have to do to recover the files on it at this
You
point.
just remove the hard drive, and there's like a thing you hook it up to and plug
Yeah,
it
but
in.
I don't know if anything's like compatible because
You'd need a
it's so
dr-
old.
It's like
you would
so
need a
old.
driver. They still had drivers back then for that stuff.
Or you need like a converter.
Maybe.
Just anything that can read this software or the firmware. I'm sorry. You can download it. I'm sure.
I don't know. It's more complicated than you think sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. Long story short, there was a night they ordered pizza twice, and when I was leaving the first time, one of the workers was like, "How many people are in that room?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not sure why." They're like, "Oh, we're getting a lot of complaints, and we've seen multiple people go in and not come out." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I wasn't really paying
They're
attention."
just having fun.
I was like, maybe 4, because they had 2 beds. I was like, maybe 4. And they're like, well, that's the capacity, but blah, blah, blah. So then they had ordered another pizza. So when I came back, I told them, I was like, hey, you guys got to be careful. Like, the hotel staff is asking about you in here. And they're like, okay, thanks. So after I left, there was a bust because they were kind of selling Viagra pills.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
And they had alcohol there. And one of them had offered me a beer that night, and I was like, no, I'm working. And good thing I didn't take it, because there was 2 undercover cops. So,
Oh, nice.
oh wow.
yeah, so they got busted for selling medicine or, prescription pills and not having a liquor license because they were doing something where you paid a fee and then they gave
Oh,
you free
yeah.
alcohol.
I suppose in a situation like that, it's better to have noise complaints than smell complaints.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dirty, but it wasn't that dirty.
It couldn't be as bad as like party and plays. Mm-hmm. Like those are just like gross. That's first of all the smell of meth in like a hotel room.
This was much cleaner. It was at the Concord Inn.
Oh, the Concord. Well,
Back when it was like newer.
Does that even exist anymore?
No,
I didn't
that's
think
how
so.
old we are. I'm sorry, but yeah, it was less than a couple years old.
it wasn't at the Flamingo.
Nope, in there though too. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh God.
See, I didn't grow
Mirrors
up
on the
it.
ceiling.
I didn't grow up on this side of town, so I had.
I've never been to the Flamingo.
That's okay.
I've just seen
had
it
our-
on the side of the road there.
Yeah, we had our hotels in Royal Oak.
Ah,
There you go. I took someone's virginity at the Flamingo Motel.
Classy.
I used to think that
very
place was fancy when I was a kid
Yeah.
because it's walled in and it's got the same exact logo as the casino from Vegas. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking like, oh, that place looks fun. It looked kind of like tropical and this and that. And I found out later it was notorious just for being a sex pit. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
the sex pit.
Yeah.
The best kind of pit.
Better than other pits.
Better than a punji pit.
yeah, I remember buying GHB from this one guy, and when I showed up to the hotel he was in, it was like a party and play going on, and there was like these 2 guys like in their mid 50s, and they're like gross looking, and they had like their shirts open and like boxers on, and there was 2 of those guys. There was one young Mexican guy, like probably like 19 or 20, just sitting in bed naked. And they had like porn playing, and you can smell like the meth and everything.
Jesus.
And I realized, and they're like, "You want to stay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good." And yeah, but they mix GHB with the meth. GHB actually feels like Molly when you mix it with like speed.
Okay.
Like it's like a super body high, and so that's why they mix it with like methamphetamines or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then where was I going with this?
I have no idea.
Oh, well, that's like your typical party and play. You know what that is?
No.
It's essentially a meth gay orgy party.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's just smoking meth.
I have never been.
People are coming and going and just fucking
And coming and coming and coming.
And then going.
And
you'll
then
see it a
coming.
lot with like, I don't know, Grinder definitely they would have that in their bio, but when they say P and P, that's what that means.
Oh, okay. That's something like I used to read a lot of like coming out stories, like or experience stories for like younger gay men that they had like incidents and stuff. Like I used to be like really into. This is so weird to say. I used to be really into gay guys in high school and
Yeah.
all of their stories and everything. So I, there's like a whole different kind of community in
Well,
the
it seems like
gay
they have
community than there is anywhere else.
they have like a skeevier but more interesting. I don't know what you call it. Subculture.
Yeah.
Like lesbians
Definitely.
don't seem anywhere near as fun. Like
No, we don't do anything like what goes on in gay man culture. Like I just know there's so much more.
like
It's
the
like
whole
a whole
leather,
new world.
the whole leather scene in New York in like the 70s
Mm-hmm.
was like so like it's such a shock when cops first figured out what it was. But it was just a dilapidated building with fucking shit hanging from the ceiling to strap
Yeah.
yourself up to, and everyone's fucking. I think the producer for Cruisin', the Al Pacino movie where he's a cop who has to go undercover to look for a serial killer in the leather scene. The producer had talked to a gay guy that worked on a set with him, and he's like, "Can you get me into these places so I can learn?" Because you also kind of had to know someone to know where they were and stuff. And
I
I
need
think
to get in there for a movie.
It's for research.
in that case, yeah, it actually was. But like one of the things he described was that the bartender would just hop up on a stool and turn around and just like stick his ass out, and people were just taking turns licking his ass. And they had like a bathtub. I think you lay in it and get pissed on. That's what it was there for.
Sure, why not?
But I couldn't remember what they specifically said about the psychology behind it. But it had to do with a combination of like being closeted, self-loathing was a big aspect of it. Like it was something that was born out of like shame and self-loathing that led to the whole kind of like leather daddy scene or leather bar type scene.
So Mike would be all about it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think the lesbian equivalent to the gay community would be like woodworking and networking on like crafts and hobbies and like being all invested in that. Like
One of the most
that's it.
One of the most annoying stories I heard was that the lesbians in England were bitching because I think they had only 2 bars left because their bars were shutting down.
Yeah.
Because like nobody was like going there.
Yeah.
And it might have been because a gay bar will literally accept anybody.
Yep.
Whereas lesbian bars, they don't want gay guys hanging out there. They don't want straight guys hanging out there.
That's dumb.
And what peaked was when what's his name? Who played Daniel Craig. At the peak of his, like he'd probably just done his
yeah.
3rd James Bond movie.
Yeah.
And he goes walking in there with his wife, who he met in a gay bar.
Okay.
So he was like familiar with the gay scene simply because he would hang like a couple gay bars were in his area, like, and he was like used to hanging out at them
Yeah.
sometimes. Mostly because he said, "I like the idea that nobody tries to fight me or fuck with me or whatever."
Right.
So him and his he goes into a lesbian bar and they all got mad and threw him out.
No, it's terrible.
And then they went to
Just
the press.
because he was a man.
Well, at this point, he is Daniel Craig. Just made the 3rd Bond movie. So
Okay.
you're talking about a super international celebrity.
I even know who he is.
Yeah, and they threw him out, and then they called up the press to bitch about it and almost like advertise the fact that they did this. And their reason was, there's only 2 lesbian bars left in all of England. We don't need him showing up. It's like,
There's
no,
some-
No, you kind of
there's
do.
a
Yeah.
man in our
absolutely.
space.
No,
yeah.
now is not the time to segregate
Right.
when your whole way of business is
It's
on
like- I
fire.
mean, like,
Yeah, it was
I
just kind of
understand-
funny because they were destroying their own business.
yeah,
by
no
doing
kidding.
this.
like, yeah,
they're
it's
they're
like-
destroying their community by
Yeah.
doing that.
I understand wanting your own like safe space as far as a bar is concerned because you don't want to risk like a guy like me like stumbling up drunk.
Well, is
like,
Stilettos
hitting on you and whatever.
Stilettos
But, like,
known as
You
a
don't hit
lesbian
on
bar?
anybody, even when you're drunk.
I
No,
think
not
so.
me
I know they did like
specifically,
a lot
but
of
somebody who
burlesque
looks
there
like me.
too, though.
I got
But
the
no, I didn't get the impression it was a gay man bar. But I knew.
or that it was like lesbian bar is what it's more known for, right?
I think so.
And
More women oriented.
When you go in there, even if you're a gay guy, because some people would go in there because they had the drag shows. So obviously,
Yes.
they wanted to go see the specific drag person
Yeah.
that they're friends with or whatever. But I remember going in there and getting the vibe that it was a lesbian bar. But then I changed my tune where it's like I'm in their space, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you're right. And there was
Yeah.
another one in Ferndale that was a lesbian bar for a while. I think it was before it was Club 9, or maybe it was Club 9. I don't know.
We used to always hear that the bar right down the street here. Gabriel's Lounge.
Oh, I don't know.
I remember hearing that was a lesbian bar like 20 years ago.
That would have been nice to know, but no,
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
heard that.
All my gay
It
bars.
would be nice if there was a gay bar anywhere in this fucking area.
Yeah, I know.
Like in
Well, the
Macomb
Rainbow Room
County.
was great. Oh, well.
There
yeah.
is not there anymore.
No, they're never.
All
No, I
my
know.
all my gay bar experience begins and ends with that one night Shannon took me to the Rainbow Room.
Yeah, I was gonna say that place shut down, right?
Yeah. Oh, years ago.
There used to be one in Mount Clemens like 25 years ago.
The Mirage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing
It
stories
used to be
about
called
that.
the SS Dinghy.
Yes, that's
Then
right.
it
I
became
heard
the
that.
Mirage, yeah. Now I'm wishing. Oh, then they had somebody bought out the bar,
Yep.
but they made the small bar space above the Emerald Theater. Mm-hmm. That later became the G Spot because John Guzman.
I remember the.
bought- Yeah, but they actually allowed that to be a gay bar because the gay community was so pissed because they're
Mm-hmm.
like, you shut down our bar. So they were like, you guys can have this little bar upstairs here.
I went up there a couple
Which,
times.
yeah. I remember going up there once when it was still considered a gay bar,
Mm-hmm.
and before I was gay, so it was pointless for me. But
Yeah.
before I smoked weed and turned gay, but yeah. But now it just sucks because it's like I don't want to have to go all the way to fucking Ferndale or Royal Oak or downtown. Detroit's
Yeah.
the worst. I don't care. There's so many people who hop to all the gay bars in Detroit, like not even downtown Detroit, but like just Detroit in general.
Yeah.
Everything's so spaced out. The neighborhoods are shitty.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not a fun experience, especially if you're like drinking and doing drugs. You don't want to
Right.
be traveling around all night in Wayne County, hopping.
I mean, you kind of do though. I used to party down there, and everybody leaves you alone in the neighborhood. When you're just traveling from bar to bar, there isn't a lot going on.
well, they shut down the Gold Coast, which was
Really?
like the place where you can get all your cocaine. Like,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, it's so obvious how it got shut down too. They stopped making payments to the fucking mafia, and cops raided it, and they got busted for not having a dancing license. Mm-hmm. Because the cops can't
Nice.
bust it for cocaine
What is
because
this, Footloose?
yeah. Yeah, well, no, they had
Something
go-go
else
boys.
loose, yeah.
So apparently you need a license to have like the go-go dancers, and that was in like the one part of the bar, and then the back part with the pool
The
tables.
Go-Go Boys were the Go-Go Boys like, I don't need a license to be fabulous.
What are they foreign?
In my mind, they are, yeah.
It was kind of like two partitions of the building, right?
Yeah,
You went
yeah.
out to the side, and then you went around to the back.
Patio and yeah.
And then that's where all the fun stuff happened. I only been back there a couple times.
But yeah, it's just funny that the cops because if the cops had busted it for the massive cocaine distribution, there'd have been a big investigation. The owners definitely would have snitched.
Yeah.
It would have been like it wasn't. It was the mafia makes it happen. So like they get busted for a dancing license that they can't pay, and it just shuts down then.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I know there was different dealers that would try. Like there was one point. It was a woman. I'm not gonna say her name, but she was the resident dealer down to a lot of those bars down there. And then I know there was an issue where somebody else was trying to encroach in her business
Oh yeah,
territory.
because it's not going to be them that comes knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Like they're, you know what I mean? Like they're protected by much more dangerous people. for
Yeah.
their turf.
So then it gets like crazy because she was nice. She was very nice. She was very protective of me, which I appreciated because I didn't know what I was doing. But if somebody tried hitting on me, she'd be like, "This is mine," and I'd be like, "Okay, thank you so much."
I know one of the guys from Gold Coast. He had to get permission, but they started allowing him to deal between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. only at Menjo's. Yeah, but nothing after 9. So if you wanted your cocaine, you had to get there early and buy it from him. But they gave him this 3-hour window, and I don't know if he's still doing it or they got somebody doing it because they usually had like at least 5 people that I knew of. I had like 2 of them. I had their personal numbers, so like I could call them and meet them up there earlier or whatever. But
Well, I can
I
totally,
probably went before you.
I can totally tell that this
like
conversation
18,
about
19.
gay bars is really it really allows our guest to engage in the conversation.
well, she's learning. She can ask a question at any time.
Just absorbing the knowledge of gay bar etiquette.
Yeah, since you've never been to a
Something
gay
you really
bar.
I have
it's something
not.
You really want
Wait,
to do
wait,
at a
wait,
gay bar
wait.
is
have
You've
not.
never been to a
explore,
gay bar? Have you ever been to an after hours bar then? Because they kind of switch over after
Oh
hours.
yeah.
But like I used to go to Stingers and Centerfold, not Centerfold, I'm sorry, but I've been to Centerfold. But I mean, the one Innuendo, that
Yeah.
one was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it was like everybody. Didn't matter your culture, your orientation, didn't matter. Everybody would just get into this bar and fucking dance and get along.
And they deal coke there.
And they deal coke there because that's that and Stingers. They would deal coke.
Hey Jess, you know what I really miss?
What?
The traffic light.
I missed the traffic light too. It's heartbreaking.
Our
That.
hole in the wall strip
Wait.
club.
Yep.
Didn't they reopen?
No.
No,
I
they
thought they
never.
did.
Still haven't?
So they were supposed to reopen, like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, I thought they.
Like they were like
think they were-
posting stuff on their Facebook
Yeah.
Yeah.
about
Yeah, you
about
showed me.
hiring people,
Yeah.
and then it just went radio
Yeah, that
silent.
was a little over a year ago.
No, it
The
was
most
2 years
recent
ago.
the most recent time was, I thought, a little over a year ago, like a year and a half ago. Because originally back in, like, I don't know, 22, when they were talking about reopening, they never actually
am,
did.
am I gonna have to look this
Yeah,
up?
just look it up really quick. And I don't know if this is factual or not, but I heard that one of the owners had died,
Oh,
and that's what stopped it from opening back in like 22 or whatever.
It looks like they were taking job applications in October 29th, 2023 on Facebook.
Yeah, so maybe it was like 21, they after like the whole pandemic scare, because they shut down because of the pandemic. And maybe it was in 21 they were trying to open. And then I think before they could open back up, they I heard that one of the owners had died, so I just assumed stuff got stuck in probate court or whatever. And then, would you say it was October of 23?
Yeah.
Was the last time they were talking. They were taking applications at that point, and
yeah.
looks
and
like
then
they,
didn't
Nothing.
say anything.
Well, it looks like they had issues with, because they closed down, apparently that restaurant equipment, the coolers, all that stuff, like you can't just not run it. And like, so it looked like they were bitching that they had a bunch of maintenance issues from being shut down
right,
so
that was when they originally tried to open back up in 21.
long. Okay.
They were saying that
Yeah.
was what was
So that
taking
was like,
so long.
Yeah, then they got those issues ironed out, and then they were like, "We're taking applications. We're gonna." I think they were like planning on opening like that December, and then just complete radio silence.
Yeah.
And then like the comments section on that last post is wild, because there's like a bunch of people just making shit up, saying that like, oh, they tore down the building, and it's like, no, they
No,
didn't.
they didn't. Right.
You know, like it's just basically making people drive past just to like take a look, and it's like, oh, I just drove past there. It's the building's still there.
I do know that a friend of mine, when they were talking about opening again in 23, a friend of mine actually went up there, and there were people actually working on the building, and he did talk to people, and they said that they had every intention on opening. And that's when I found out it was from him, that they had said that one of the owners died, and that's what kind of stopped everything. Again, I do not know how factual this is. This is strictly what he told me.
Yeah, like all we have
So-
is like hearsay and whatever.
Right, right. But I miss it because, it was a $5 cover to get in, which you can't even
Yeah,
get into basically any bar for a $5
when
cover.
I say hole in the wall strip club, it
Yeah.
was a hole in the wall strip
Yeah.
club. It
Yeah, well,
was-
even
it
even
was
like mid-grade strip clubs are just robbing you blind.
Sure,
$25
yeah.
to get in. If you try to use their ATM, you ever see what a goddamn strip club ATM fee
Oh,
is?
yeah,
At least
yes, yes.
$15.
God, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I
And-
had a stripper literally try to rob me at the one Luke worked at. Because she kept coming by and giving me shots, and I was talking to one stripper. I was waiting for Luke to come back because he was buying Adderall. And so I'm doing shots. I'm talking to the one stripper, and at the end of the night, I'm all fucked up, and I go and I give her like, I pay her money or whatever, and then she comes back and goes, "You didn't give me enough." And like my bill was like $240. And she's like, "You only gave me $140." And I'm like, "No, I didn't." Like, in fact, the stripper walked with me to the ATM machine that I was talking
Yes.
to. And she was like, "No, he pulled out this much money and gave it to you." And then Luke finally intervened. It was like, well, what? And he knew how to intervene because he's like, maybe you accidentally threw it out. Maybe it fell out over here. And he starts walking with her. Then suddenly she goes, "Oh, there it is in the trash."
Yeah, like basically giving her an out from
Yeah.
being called out.
Yeah, because if you just accused her, she would just deny it. But if he like,
yeah,
but yeah, it was just like, you fucking cunt. Like, I pay all this money to get in here just to wait on my friend. And then I blow all this money because I felt bad. I had to let the stripper I'm talking to do a dance for me. And Yeah, and then the bitch tries to rob me.
Right.
Right.
So
Then, the stripper-
you're giving strip clubs a bad name.
Right.
Well, the stripper, she was a black chick, and she went by Alexis or Mercedes or one of those. And she was like, "Oh, why don't I give you my number?" Blah blah. Blah. And I'm like, "No, I'll see you again." And then when I walked out, Luke's like, "She's never done that before.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take her number?" I was like, "What?" Like, apparently that's a rare thing for a stripper to actually give you her number.
Yeah,
Is
that
it?
is true.
I've gotten strippers' numbers before.
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, he has.
Show
I
us.
have.
Show us.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Let's call him.
Yeah. No, he has.
Hey, remember
I was
when you
there.
remember when you gave me that lap dance? 5-6 years ago?
I'm calling him right now.
Who are you calling? What is he doing?
I'm
He's
calling the
calling
stripper.
someone.
Yeah, oh my god.
Who knows?
What are you doing?
Huh?
Oh, well, that bit failed. Anyway,
So, but
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't either.
But whatever he's doing
It's
is
probably not good.
It's probably something retarded.
Huh?
Huh?
Oh, since all my favorite people.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected.
Oh.
Yeah, way to go,
Aw.
Ace. Anyway,
See? Disconnected.
That's because the traffic light never opened back up.
No, that was the stripper, Sean.
yeah, because he cloned my phone apparently.
He gave me the stripper's number that he
Yeah, of
and I
course.
called, and it was disconnected.
So, speaking actually
If a
on
real
this
person
topic,
answered, I was just going to go, "Are you the stripper that gave you the number?"
What's the matter with you? What number did you call?
I just made one up.
Oh, so you're oh,
I
okay.
call a random person.
so on kind of on this topic as like a little bit of a side note, since you're my maid of honor, Sean, I want a bachelor party
Oh, okay.
because every bachelor party that I've ever tried to go to, they're like, "Ew, no, she's a girl," and I know you've stood up for me, and like, yeah, she's a girl in theory,
Yeah.
but so Dan will not be attending. I asked him if he wanted to have like a joint bachelor party,
so
and he's
now
like,
I have to
"No."
I have to prepare a bachelor party for you.
for me.
Well, who else are you going to invite?
Pretty much everybody in this room, and well, Mikey. I mean, like, how many friends do you think I have?
I don't know.
We should go to a gay bar.
Why would we go to a gay bar?
Should
Have
you
you
ever
ever
been to
been
one?
to a gay one? They're so much fucking fun.
Men-
No,
Jokes.
I want an
That's what- yeah.
actual bachelor party.
She wants a bachelor
I want a
party.
I'm not talking about
Bachelor
for a
party.
bachelor
She doesn't wanna
party.
get-
I'm
she
talking about
doesn't-
just going to a gay
Yeah, I
bar.
know.
She
I mean,
doesn't-
we could do that,
was just-
but
was
not
just-
for my
There
bachelor
was
I
one
was
party.
night
gonna
we
say,
karaokeed
she
and there was a
wants-
fucking conga line for like a half hour. It was amazing.
I was
That
just
would
gonna
be
say,
amazing.
she wants a bachelor party, not to get you laid. Like,
If you go to Menjo's, they have a big cock on wheels that you can ride.
Is
Oh,
Mejo
well.
still
Shut
around?
up.
Oh yeah.
No kidding.
God damn it, I'm in.
I know Gigi's is still around, right?
Oh yeah. Yes, I see like certain guys snaps. Like somebody was at Gigi's the other day. Like,
I can't believe that place is still around.
well, that's like the big one where you go for the
Yeah.
drag shows and everything.
Yep.
I haven't been there in like years.
I just remember Jesse/Steve, the bartender, the last time I went. Like the one time I went.
Slashed him.
No, /Steve. This was before the big transgender movement. But he wasn't transgender anyway. He was just a drag queen. But
Well, Menjo's is considered like the actual like transgender or transvestite
oh,
type
okay.
of transvestite, transsexual, like that's their space or whatever.
Oh,
That,
for
that area,
them.
6 Mile and Woodward, was always
Yeah.
considered the tranny area. So
Oh, really? I don't
going back to like the 70s, I think, like that was where you went to get a tranny hooker.
Oh. I only went to
Kinda nice
Mejo's
that
one time.
It's like, oops, gridded out that
Jesus.
way. Sorry.
fuck that mic up.
It was an accident. Stop.
We don't condone violence.
And the park, what is it, Palmer Park?
That one I'm not familiar with at all.
That's like down the street from Menjo's, and that's where you would go to cruise, I guess.
Definitely did
guess.
not cruise in Detroit. That's one thing I did not do.
I thought
well, that's like
Palmer
that's-
Park was kind of a bougie area.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, like
Well,
6
it's all
Mile.
patchy down there.
But there's like actual mini mansions and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I
in
thought.
that area because I've been to one of the houses before. But I saw the park; it just looked empty. I didn't know anything about Palmer Park, and then somebody told me, like, oh no, you go walking through there and find like a trans person, transvestite or whatever, and they hook or whatever. And I'm not sure what their hours are.
Sure, you don't.
I don't need to cruise.
No.
Like I said, every person
Well,
I
nobody-
swipe right
nobody-
on Tinder is a match.
Nobody
all I'm saying.
needs to cruise.
You need to give out some tips for all those right swiping dudes that don't get matches.
The lower 95.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
other
those guys.
95%.
I get to be that guy too, where I can be like,
Yep.
"Ugh,
I'm in the 5.
get away from me, 95er. I've gotten like uppity like that before, like super cocky with like guys where they'd be like, "Well, can't you come here and can't you?" And I just go, "Look at me and look at you.
Oh my god.
Wow.
You either come to me or that's it." Like,
Right. Well, if you got the clout.
well, I mean, but also it's like, yeah, I work out like several hours a week, like so I get to do that. That's just the way the world works.
Yeah. Well, he works out several hours a week because he doesn't have a job.
When I had a job too, I still did it. I used to work out at my job.
I don't know. I used to go for a couple hours twice a day, and I was not in peak physical condition at all. And I did that for like 6 months.
Yeah.
It's so much harder for women in the gym than it is for men. Like you could take a man and a woman and you could do like start out with the same routine.
Oh, I
and
know.
the difference in what a man can
What a
like,
man.
sorry, I'm getting tired. What a man can be at the end of like that 6 months or a year or whatever, there's like a huge difference.
Well, it's all hormones.
It's all hormones.
So, yeah, I know. It takes a lot. It's a lot.
It is.
Like a few hours a week might help with like some sort of muscle training to help burn fat, but that's not going to do anything else for me. I mean, it's a lot,
Right.
but it's not anything like I used to do.
Yeah. Well, and then you have somebody like me that has the metabolism of a sloth, has like an underactive thyroid. I don't ever eat, and like even Sean can attest to that. Like
Yeah.
I eat like, I drink a protein shake for breakfast. I eat 6 crackers for lunch, and I have like a really small meal for dinner.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going through the shit, you eat even less.
So, and everybody's like, "Oh, you should eat more. You should eat more." And trust me, I've tried it. So, I can go to the
I
gym.
remember you trying to eat a Toblerone while drunk in my house one day.
Yeah, and the Toblerone and everything I drank ended up all over the floor in your house one day.
Yeah.
Wait, you were drinking booze and eating a Toblerone?
Yeah, but I hadn't eaten any real food in like, I don't
Oh,
know,
yeah.
8 or 10 days at that point, just because I couldn't, with my ulcer and with everything that was going on in my life at the time, like I couldn't even, I
mean,
would
those-
just throw it all right back up.
Those were still good times, though. There
Oh,
was
indeed.
like you were hanging out at my house, and we were getting like Capri Suns and filling them with vodka.
Yes. Oh my God, the Capri Suns.
And then we'd get Blotto, and I'd be like, I got this candy bar.
I warned you. And you're like, here, just
And you're
have a
like, I
piece."
never get sick when I drink.
Unless I eat a Toblerone. Good times.
Let's all stare at Louis while he's on his phone.
He's swiping. I actually don't know what he's doing. I can't see his phone.
Oh, he's planning something.
Probably.
I'm texting.
I don't know. Maybe he's working on my bachelor party.
Find something. What the fuck? Oh no, this guy. This guy's always popping up on my Tinder, and he looks like a giant douchebag.
Can't see
Yeah,
him.
it does.
I mean, I couldn't really see him
I
because you were
couldn't see
shaking
him.
the phone.
But it's like, why are you there? Like, you don't need Tinder. So I'm guessing it's either a fake account or if you do match with him, why would you take a picture of your weak chin?
Oh,
Just show how
Like,
submissive
first
he
his
is.
eyes and then one of his lower chin.
Oh, no.
So you don't actually know what he looks like.
Right.
All you're going to see is his eyes. Just like that. Oh, he's sucking your cock.
His
Gonna
mouth
say,
looks
just tell
his
him to
mouth
bite
looks
the
like an
pillow.
uppercase I on its side. Or a really wide uppercase H.
Crickets.
Where are they, Sean?
Oh, that's not,
Wrong one.
no.
No. Try again.
Um,
Okay. One more try.
You're done.
You're done. You're done.
no.
No, taking the buttons away.
Wrong
Wow.
one. He's
What
not
was-
giving
what
up.
was I-
No
what was-
pressure.
Oh, found it. Found it. Found it.
Anything but.
Here's another one. Like it says they have secret admirer, and then you click on it and it shows you someone. So you already know that they swiped on you. And so I click on this. I click on one. It shows me this guy, and then I look and it says 91 miles away. Like I have my thing set up to be like
Right.
within 30 miles or whatever, and it just bothers. It's like what are you gonna do 91 miles away?
Not much.
Like what? You're gonna
Drive.
drive 2.5 hours? Like
No.
Well, why would it have put your profile out there to somebody that far away anyway?
because Tinder knows, like, if you don't pay for Tinder, so when you first start using Tinder, you get like the top people, like they know who gets swiped on enough because they have algorithms.
5%.
Is it
Yeah,
the
yeah.
5%?
Well, it's the people that they know get swiped right on the most, and they do that to lure you in, and they keep saying, "But you buy our plan, buy our plan." And when you don't buy their plan after a certain period of time, they're like, "Well, you're going to get fat and ugly for the rest of the like," and you just suddenly get all the lowest people, and because they want you to pay for the plan, like to get to the higher percent, whatever,
Yeah.
the more popular or good looking people. And eventually they run out of the fat, ugly people to show you. So now they have to just show you everyone. And I think what they do is they will probably took my shit because I probably get swiped on all the time. And they start going out of my range to go, hey, look at that. Look what we got for you.
Right.
Pay us. So they're just using my photos and my profile
sons of
to sell a
bitches.
package to other people.
Yep.
Yeah, look what we got for you. A short,
should demand
muscle-bound
royalties.
gay with a harvester shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably part of this terms of service or something.
Yeah.
They can use your picture.
'Cause
I wonder if
nobody
that
ever
Mike's
reads
probably
it.
wasn't smart enough to understand what the top 5% is. If he heard that number
No.
somewhere.
No, he definitely heard that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever used a dating app. And he watches like Fresh and Fit and
What is that?
they're the
Two
fucking-
losers that hate on women.
It's a like manosphere bullshit, fucking misogynist podcast.
Oh, okay.
Like it purposely appeals to incels.
Yeah, it's like they just like talk about like pickup artistry and how dumb women are and all that shit.
Gotcha.
Like basically the kind of thing that would like make you rip your TV out of the wall.
But also, it's just boring Like to me, it's like every day you need to listen to somebody complain about what women do on first dates. Like that's like
kind of
that's like retard a conversation alone. But then it's also funny to think about like certain people listening to them, and it's like, well, you don't even go on dates, so why are you listening to two guys tell you how shitty women are on dates when you
Yeah.
don't even date? Like
Probably to make themselves feel
just
better
to
about
reaffirm
dating.
you reaffirm your fucking anxieties and fears that keep you from dating in the first
Yeah.
place. Like
Stops you from trying.
Oh, and dating does suck. Like, dating's hard. It really is. Getting to know somebody, but
Being vulnerable.
being
or learning what
vulnerable.
level.
Yeah, exactly.
these are people who aren't even
And-
trying it. Like
right,
Exactly.
but that's
But then
my
they don't
point.
have to open
I
up
mean,
to
there's a
anybody.
casual
Right.
They
way
don't have to get hurt.
Well, I mean, that's actually dating. If you're actually talking about that type of when you're making that emotional connection,
Yeah.
but you won't even start a thing and just
Yep.
look at the fucking
It's
photos.
It's protection.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It's protection and an excuse that goes
it's like
outside of
this.
themselves being,
Because if you at least did the Tinder thing, even if you don't meet up with them, you would find out what like the people you're talking to like get annoyed with. Like you can tell by either their short responses or when they suddenly unmatch you.
Yeah.
Well, what did I say? Well, you know what you just said. so that probably led to being unmatched.
Right.
Whether you message the person too much, you realize they pull away because like maybe you're messaging. Like that's stuff you learn when you first get into that.
Right.
Right, and
that
everybody's
scene.
different. So somebody it might not be too much messaging,
right.
and to somebody else it's like, whoa.
But if you don't even do that,
Nope.
then you're not even learning basic social skills to even make
Exactly.
the introduction.
Which
Like,
kind of feeds back
so-
into their incel.
Right.
So there was like one night I was talking to Mike, and Mike was like doing his whole like, woe is me, I can't find anybody thing, and I'm like, have you ever tried, just talking to women?
Does he go out anywhere?
And his eyes rolled just at the thought of talking to a woman, just having a normal conversation with a woman. His eyes rolled so far in the back of his head, like he was just, and I fucking called him out on that, because it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Is that how deep you are that you can't even imagine having a conversation with a woman like she's a normal human being? Like, is that how far gone you are at this point?
I mean, what did it start out? He was too afraid somebody was going to be smarter than him, like a woman could be smarter than him. Or
I don't know
something,
what
or...
it is. Like we never got that far because then like it was immediate backpedaling and shit, and it's like, no, you just gave me the weirdest fucking look at the prospect of having a conversation with a woman like she was a human being. And, well, I'm not misogynist. Yes, you are.
You said it. You said the word. No, that just like stuff like that just blows me away. It's like, why? I don't even understand how anybody can care about anything that much to be that awful. You know?
Well, like the other thing, from just the few people that I know that had that incel type of like behavior, like, and then what I see online, it's like these people don't even go out. Like, so where are they even learning to, like, you have to learn to socialize. And so if you're not even going out to meet people, and then you're not using Tinder or certain dating apps,
what it all
then
boils.
where are you
What it
even
all-
going to meet a chick to begin with, and then also even talk to them? Like,
What it all boils down to is that there is a social problem within these individuals that they do not want to address, and they just want to pretend that it is literally everybody else who has the problem and not them. They don't want to take any accountability, and they don't want to better themselves as a human being. So they'd rather just sit there, be chronically online, and talk about how horrible women are, and talk about how they're all gold diggers, and you have to have money to have a girlfriend, and all this other shit, instead of actually considering that there might be something wrong with them, and then they might have to develop social skills or see a therapist and figure out why they cannot develop social skills.
the other funny thing is the type of woman that's going to be more open-minded and nice and social is going to be the blue-haired commie girl,
Oh yeah,
which they hate right off the bat. So you want a
Yeah.
conservative woman. So
Blue haired commie girl. Like,
like the type of chick who would be a little bit punk rock or goth. They would hang out in a coffee house.
It would be
And
the
you know what I mean?
person
Like-
that they would immediately stereotype as.
oh, okay.
as,
I gotcha.
Oh, she's probably one of those SJWs.
SJW feminist,
yeah.
whatever. And it's like, no, it's a down to earth person, and like you'd probably get along with her, and you'd probably share a bunch of the same interests if you would actually have a
Just
normal
have a
conversation. With her.
Then the funny
And
part
the
is
more- yeah,
when
well,
they
the-
attack body count. What's your body count? Like, so to them, a woman's value decreases the more sexual partners she has. So what you're saying is when you find out a girl puts out, you don't want anything to do with her? And that's
Shouldn't it
why
be
are
the
you
opposite?
a virgin? Yeah.
I mean,
They used
kind
to
of
say,
logic
treat
dictates.
the ladies like whores and the whores like ladies.
Yeah. Well, they have to make excuses because they're also afraid of commitment, and that can't possibly be their problem either.
I used to love.
So like they just look for excuses not to engage. Like everything is there's a problem with everything, and that's why they're only their ideal woman doesn't exist. It is like a fictional thing that doesn't exist.
Oh, but then also the reason they used to exist, but the reason they no longer exist is because the Jews and the media are programming them to be dykes. You know, like you have a
Worked
bunch
on
of like
me.
Jewish
Damn it.
media.
Damn it, Shannon.
I used
I'm
to
just a product.
They turned Donna Reed into Rosie the Riveter. Those sons of bitches.
I used to love cucking guys that would try talking to Stacy. Like we'd be at a bar and I could see Stacy give me the look because there'd be like some nerd with thin wrists talking to her or whatever. And so then I would just walk up and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Blah blah blah. And then I'd be like, "What's your name?" And I'd shake his hand and like squeeze it real tight. And like, and then I would obviously look like I knew Stacy. And I wasn't pushing him away or anything, but they immediately would just like go silent and grab their drink and go and slink away.
Yeah.
Because they were just like deflated by my presence, and it was just fun to do that. Because it's like, well, if that's all it took, then like you're not a man anyway. So
Right.
Yeah.
you're not man enough for Stacy.
I don't know. I just have my little piece of the world and I just stay in my lane. Don't even get involved with anything anymore. Do
Yeah,
anything
how often?
anymore.
How often do you look at guys' wrists?
I can't say that
Shannon?
I have really ever
It
looked
depends on what we're doing.
at guys' wrists.
Now, how often do you look at a guy's ass?
Honestly, you've seen what I had at home. I don't need to look at any other guy's ass.
But that's
I'm gonna
that's,
agree with you on that.
Yeah,
He does have a
it's got this-
particularly nice ass.
And oh my God, you should see it now. He has been
She's got a tiny.
working out
I believe you.
quite a bit.
She's got a tiny Jason Momoa at home.
I do. I do have a
that
tiny
is-
Jason Momoa at home.
that's like the incel.
Mini Momoa.
That's what incels complain about the most. Is they go, oh, women don't like me because of my thin wrists. They're like obsessed with their wrist size, and they think that's like a factor, and that women are all judging them. So it's all in their head. They're like,
Yeah,
"Look at my
no,
wrists.
there's no-
Oh, because my wrists are small. That's why it's all women's fault, and they hate me because of my wrists. So they're just like,
Now I'm going to
tell
start
you-
looking at people's wrists.
I'll tell you what I look
nobody
like.
does.
No, I'm
what I
gonna
like-
now though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
One of my
not-
favorite parts is the cut in the forearm.
Yes.
I
With
love
the rolled
that.
up sleeve. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm self-conscious.
But like, we're
about,
not
is
really
my
paying
forearms.
attention to the wrists themselves. We're paying attention to the rest of the arm.
When I was working out last year, my forearms got pretty big, and I was pretty satisfied with that. But I haven't been working out recently. So they're starting to deflate.
Yeah, what happened to that? Wasn't Mike supposed to?
Yeah, he was supposed to
His
start
blood
coming over-
sugar was at 10, and the
Well,
doctor
yeah,
told him
his
you're going to
A1C.
die.
Well, his
and-
A1C was at like it was at almost 10, and like his blood sugar was like over 400.
Jesus.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, have you been working out at home? Because we were working out at a gym until like the gym was no longer 24 hours.
Right.
And like, I just kind of slacked off and like stopped doing like occasionally, like I'll jump on the treadmill or whatever, mainly because I get a catty comment from Lou. And then,
Good girl, Lou.
but I've like really fallen off. But like Mike's complaining about this and like you know A1C is like really high, his blood sugar is really high, and it's like he's like, I don't understand it, my diet's fine, blah blah blah. I'm like, have you been working out? I'm like, have you been doing cardio at all? Like, what's going on? It's like, oh, I've been doing push-ups and I've been doing this. Like, he's been doing like, well, he claims he's been doing like some rudimentary calisthenic stuff, but I don't necessarily believe him. And I'm like, have you been doing any cardio at all? He's like, no. And I'm like, I have equipment at home. Like, you can come over after work. He's like, okay. I'll come over after work then. And he's never come over after work. This was like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, I bought a walking pad on Amazon for under $100.
A walking pad?
Yeah. A walking pad. Like it's a treadmill without like the big
Oh, okay.
piece that you hold on to.
What's the weight
okay.
limit on something like that?
The one I got is I want to say the weight limit was like 250 or 275 on it, but it was more so the speed. Like cuz I'm not going to run.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run.
Yeah, there's no point.
But-
Once you're in your late 30s or 40s, you're just like
I'm in my
down at your
late
knees.
40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost 50. So
I run on the treadmill. I'm almost 40.
I just speed walk.
Yeah, I
It's like
I would
the
do a speed walk.
I speed walk
so-
at like 4.5 miles per hour, like according
Yeah.
to the treadmill.
Well, you could feel all that muscle too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was,
That's
and
fast.
it's like really small
That is
too. It
fast.
fits underneath my coffee table, and it's on wheels. I just slide it in and
feel
out.
like-
I watch TV and I walk on it.
I feel like if we ever do any video stuff with a green screen, we're gonna need a walking pad. Just so like.
Is that the one that doesn't have anything in
Yeah.
front? It's
Yeah.
just like
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
yes,
you
I
just have,
did
like, fake
fall
scenery
off of it
behind.
already.
I was gonna say. I was thinking
They
about
had
how
that.
I
I am
fall off.
so clumsy. But you know what the thing is you really like you have to when it starts because like mine at least gives me like a little countdown and then it starts out really slow and it's got a remote control. There's other ones you can control with your phone, but mine specifically has a remote control.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to have my phone in my hand the whole time.
Yeah.
I need like as I'm speeding it up, I need to like focus on like the TV. You know what I mean? I can't look around because then I lose my balance because I am clumsy as fuck. And the dog walked past it and that made me lose my balance and fall off because I looked at what the dog was doing. But yeah, it was like I said, it was under $100. Ordered it on Amazon. It was delivered to my porch the next day. So
A new thing I can buy and never use.
I just like how compact it is, and you can get a good stride on it too. That was my main concern because I
How
have
long is it?
it's not as wide as like a standard like treadmill. It's skinnier, which I think kind of is what gives me problems being clumsy. But it is about the same length.
Oh, okay.
And I even though like I'm short and I have short legs, I still have a long stride.
Right.
And I actually find myself like almost stepping on the front of it. Like you can feel
Yeah.
like when you've walked kind of too far forward
The
and you like
roller
raise
kinda,
it.
yeah.
So it's actually it's nothing fancy, you know, but it works. I like it. It's my Amazon plug.
Yeah.
Didn't they have something in the Jetsons that
All
was like,
hail
oh,
Jeffrey Bezos.
no, the stuff, all the
All
stuff
hail
they stand
Bezos.
on.
Yeah. The dog would run out there on the treadmill.
Yeah, it was just like the treads though.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Also, don't they like everything's like the airport where you have that strip you stand on. It's like a whatever you call it,
The walkway
people
thing.
mover
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
the walking strip.
Or the standing still strip.
Standing
I guess.
still.
Yeah.
I learned that April is a stander stiller
You know
on
what's
those
fun?
things.
Oh,
every
I'm a
time-
walker on those
Me
things.
too. I'm like, that's
every
my
time-
favorite part about going to the
Yes.
airport is like, I feel like a superhero.
Yeah, that's what I do. I walk fast.
We
on
all
it.
do it. And then
yeah.
she's like, why are you going ahead of me? I'm like,
No.
this is the best part of the airport.
feel like
And I will
Flash.
not be. Yes.
I'm walking
when you-
at a
like,
normal
you-
speed and I feel like the Flash.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you
But
get
like-
off, your body has to adjust. You
Yeah,
And it
like-
feels
You like
fun too.
almost
Off
trip
and you're
off
like-
of it.
Yeah.
And I will be beelining it to the next one because I'm ready to go, right? Because I'm already got speed now. Even
It's
though I
like-
had to adjust, I don't care. Because I know as soon as I get on it, I'm going to launch forward.
But yeah, stepping off of it's like stepping off of a boat. You're just
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah. Or it's kind
Solid
of like
ground.
Sea
elevator.
legs.
You ever get that?
Yep.
Like when the elevator stops and your body
It
feels
goes, woo.
like it's
Yeah.
That is actually your internal organs shifting.
Yep.
That is why that
Oh, really?
happens.
Okay.
Think
yeah.
about that roller coaster now.
Yup. That is actually
Yep.
from your internal organs shifting.
Yep.
Well, speaking of internal organ shifting, anybody else got sex stories?
I had sex once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty neat.
It was so
What
cool.
was it like?
That was so cool.
Well, we're petering out.
It's been kind of a long day.
I have to pee.
Okay. Well, you go do that. Well, if you made it this far, thanks for listening.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
Sorry about what?
Making it this far.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe,
Email.
Comment.
emails.
Please comment. Don't send text messages.
Yes. Email schweethepeople@gmail.com.
And if it's a dick pic, Make sure to put attention Louis.
Don't. How about just don't send dick pics? How
Send the
about
dick
that?
pics.
Don't send dick pics to me.
Do it anyway.
Or anybody else.
Coming for your sweet ass at gmail.com.
Shut the.
Better give us more than just a haiku, or we're coming for your sweet